This lecture video is going to cover paired data. Now, previously in this class, we've learned about independent data. What independent data is it's sets of data that don't really have a relationship with one another, right? Sample 1 doesn't have anything to do with sample 2. However, that's not always the case. Sometimes you may be working with what we call paired data. Paired data, or what we sometimes call matched pairs, is when you have an observational unit will give two pieces of data. For instance, if a researcher wanted to see if humans have bigger left foot or right foot, they could take a sample of people and measure both a person's left foot and right foot. In this case, we would be dealing with paired data because each person gave their left foot size and they gave their right foot size. It's not like we took a random 50 people's left foot and another random 50 people's right foot. That would be independent data. It's important to realize it's not about the variables that you're estimating that will determine if you're dealing with independent or paired data. It's about how you collect the data set. Let's do some examples to make sure we're clear on what is independent data versus what is paired data. So in this example, a researcher wanted to see if dogs or cat lives longer, so they randomly sampled 50 dogs and 50 cats. This would be independent data. All right, IND, independent data. And that's because it's just random dogs and random cats. However, this could have been done as a paired data set. Imagine, for instance, the researcher went to households that had both a cat and both a dog. So household 1, they gave their answer for a dog, and then they gave their answer for a cat. Household 2, they gave their answer for a dog, and then they gave their answer for a cat. This would be considered paired data, and the pairs would be the households, household 1, household 2. So again, it's not about what variables you're studying, it's how you collect the data. Imagine we wanted to see if students did better on quiz 1 or quiz 2. So we looked at both a student's quiz 1 score and a student's quiz 2 score, and we did that for 34 students. This would be considered paired data because we used each student's quiz 1 and quiz 2 score. This could have been done by looking at independent data if we took random students' quiz 1 scores and another random students' quiz 2 scores. Our last example may be a little bit trickier, and here we want to see if there's a difference in the amount of rainfall in California versus Oregon. And we used rainfall per month for the last 4 years as data for both states. Is this paired or is this independent? Now keep in mind, California and Oregon are adjacent. They're touching each other. Now if we think about this, would your answer change if you were comparing California and Paris? Or would your answer change if you're comparing California and Mars, the actual planet Mars? Well, again, it's not about the variable you're studying, it's how you collect your data. Yes, California versus Oregon are closer than California versus Paris and California versus Mars. So we're right in the sense that, hey, maybe the weather is more linked to California and Oregon compared to California versus Paris, and even more so than California versus Mars. But it's not about the variables you're studying. We don't call paired data dependent data. And that's a big distinction. We're not saying these two sets of data are dependent on one another. We're just saying, are they paired? So whether or not we're dealing with Oregon, Paris, or Mars, this would be paired. And that's because we're collecting it based on rainfall per month. So if we think about January 2016, how much did it rain in California? Maybe 3.8 inches. How much did it rain in Paris? I don't know. Maybe 6.7 inches. California, 3.8 inches, Mars, 0 inches. February 2016. How much did it rain in California? Maybe 2.7 inches, 5.1 inches. California, 2.7 inches, 0 inches. It's paired because it's coming from the same month. So it doesn't matter what type of other location we picked. This would always be paired data because it's coming from the same observational unit, which is month.